Welcome to Subramani. Uh, I have made such a video earlier saying what I have observed about rich people. Rich, very rich, whatever you want to call them. I'm not putting any definition, 50 crore net worth or 2000 crore net worth, nothing like that. Just largely rich people, people whose current income has nothing to do with their lifestyle, and the lifestyle has again nothing to do with what they can live. Like it's not connected to their balance sheet or their P&L. They live a nice life. They drive nice cars. They take nice vacations. They do all that, but it is still they are living way below their means, way below their means. Some of these people may be living it up. I don't meet such people. I don't meet people who show off their riches which they actually don't have. I meet those people who show off like they have 20 crores when they actually could be having 2000, right? So I meet all kinds of people, but largely it is the real rich that I meet. So let me look at some of the characteristics. So the first characteristic is, I think the children there hear more yes than no. They are not told that you can't do this, you can't do that, right, kind of a thing. So they are largely allowed to do whatever they want, but even in such big rich households, there is some unwritten law that you will come and look after the business. Is it possible that some kid in this house who is a single kid who tells his dad, look, I am not interested in your 200 crore business, give it to the managers and I will play tennis, or I'll play golf, or I'll play poker? No, I don't see that. I don't see that happening, at least not in the kind of families that I meet. I'm sure there must be children who are ambitious, who are playing some sport, who are really rich. One name which comes to mind, I don't know the name of the boy, but Kumar Mangalam Birla's son was playing in IPL cricket. I do not know what happened after that. Obviously, he is the richest cricketer in India. Maybe has more money than Dhoni has. In fact, he should be having more money than what Dhoni has. No, jokes apart, that I don't think that really happens. But yes, children are encouraged to do a lot of things. I see one more thing is the parents are willing to invest in children, obviously because they have money, not something which the middle class can do, but middle class, some of the upper class can do, but they don't. Is to send your kid abroad alone, maybe in class 10, and say, go and attend some course, go and see how the world is, go and see how is Singapore, go and see how is US, and that kind of a thing, which many of my classmates can afford. I could have afforded. I didn't know about this opportunity, right? So or I did not think it is worthwhile. Nobody really told me when my daughter was in class 10 that after class 10 she should do a 1 month stint in Harvard or somewhere and see how the world is. Because seeing how the world is at 16 is very different from seeing the world at 23, right? So something like that. No, but I did not know about it, and I do not know whether I would have thought it is worth spending 3 to 5 lakhs on doing something like that. So yes, so which means they have the guts to ask whether they can do things, and they go ahead and do things. They are not told, no, this we can't do and that we can't do. So that's a good place to start. Largely they know the landscape around them. In fact, I was hired by one family, real rich, for talking to them for I think it was 5 lectures, 8 kids, and I had to tell them a lot about the economy, what to read in the newspaper, what to believe, what not to believe. It was good experience for me because it was largely a case of more like Yoga Vasishtha, where I had to keep quiet and they had to ask me questions. They had to write notes, they had to make essays, lot of these things they had to do. But that brings me to this question. Many people think that rich kids are spoiled. Completely wrong. Some rich kids may be spoiled, but many of the rich kids get a lot of input from their parents. Look, a guy who has built assets worth 200 crores, let's say, or even 50 crores, knows how to take care of his assets, would he neglect his best asset, which is his kid? I don't know from where people get such ideas. Yes, some kids are spoiled, they get take to drugs and things like that, but that does not mean that is the rule. I know kids of middle class parents who behave very badly with them. Once they finish their education, they go away, they get married, they don't even inform, or that kind of a thing happens. It's not to say that that does not happen in the poorer class or the middle class or the richer class, but the richest among them really invest in their kids as much as they invest in their business. And believe it or not, in 90% of the cases that I have seen, it is the mother's job. Yes, the father might be influencing the kid in saying where to invest, how he does appraisal of his fund managers, or how does he do an appraisal of his business managers. Yes, those the kids may be learning, but the initial stage of saying this is what you can do, this is what you're capable of doing, play these games, largely maybe I'm seeing a very patriarchal society. It is the woman's job, and many women have done a fantastic job in doing that, right? Another thing which I see them is to ask for help. When they don't know something, they ask for help. They pick up the phone and say, can you help me with this? They'll pick up the phone for a doctor or any business or anything, and they're willing to pay for it. That's another amazing thing. I was called to speak to these 8 children over 5 lectures, and I was paid very handsomely for it. I said, I charge so much per day. They said, absolutely no problem, and they paid me for it. Right. So some of these things, and I did it for fun. I could not even draw the mandate. I said, okay, 7-8 days should work, 5 days should work. So let's see what works. Then, I mean, every day was about 15-20 minutes of my talking and about an hour of their listening, and they're telling me questions, asking me questions, absolutely simple, stupid, whatever questions, and then it was done in their house. They did not want to come out, in the sense could not have been done in the office. They did not want it to be done in their office, so it was done in their house. Obviously fantastic surroundings, but I'm just saying, so all these people pay money to get their kids educated in an informal atmosphere also. It's not just that they pay fees and put them in an Ivy League. They prepare them well enough for them to go to an Ivy League, right? One thing which the children are taught well is to value time and to find time for everything. So these kids have to, whether it is speaking to grandparents, whether it is playing games, whether it is spending time with the family, whether it is putting your phone off while you're having lunch or dinner with the family, right, or going off to bed at 9 o'clock, switching off the phones, right? All these things have been taught, have been disciplined, and many of those kids do it well, almost naturally. So it's not that kids don't value other people's time. They value other people's time. They know that this time is valuable and they have to pay for it. Then most of these kids know how to budget, live on a budget, especially if they go abroad, and they are taught to respect other people's time and other people's money. I am not saying that all the kids are like that, but they have value for money and they have value for time. So when they come and say, I mean, these kids, when they come and say, can we take your time? It will take 10 minutes for me to explain this. They know that time is got value. They have been taught by their parents. They have seen their parents. They have also been given time slots by their parents, saying, okay, this is the time when we will talk about it, we will talk about this, and it could be 3-4 times in a day, or they could be getting more time with the grandparents than with their parents. But that there is a lot of slotting that happens, and a lot of informal also which happens before the kid comes to class 5. But yes, managing structured time is taught, and I think that's a good thing. The children talk money. They also understand that money is a long-term game and not a short-term gain. They also understand that they can go completely wrong by getting into things like betting and losing money, or getting into the hands of the mafia. They are told all this much before they start accessing such stuff, right? So they are told that they have to be careful about these things, because in a 200 crore family, a kid does not get into a 5 lakh rupee problem, gets into a 50 crore rupee problem, and that has to be solved by the patriarch, right? So telling the kids that if you get into trouble, tell me. Don't try to solve it yourself, I'll be able to give a better solution, or things like that. All that happens, and happens very well, right? So they speak the language of money, they speak the language of time, they understand the importance of other people's time. It's not just their own time, other people's time, saying apologies for coming 5 minutes late, or things like that. In Indian business households, the need for the promoter to say sorry is not much, but yes, many of these kids have been taught that they have to be doing all that, right? They hire outsiders to teach them. They outsource a lot of things, but still a lot of things have to be done. In one family, the servant will not bring water for the kids have to go and get it themselves. In another family, the bed will have to be made by the kids and not by the servant, right? So I mean, you don't hire somebody to give you a bath or brush your teeth, right? An imaginative film can be made, but not something which you would do. So learning that you have to do many of the things yourself, and therefore you can also outsource. Learning cooking, which is a survival skill which is needed. So some of these things they learn, most of these things are taught to them by their parents or by tutors hired by the parents to teach them such stuff, right? So they all understand the need for taking vacations. They do take vacations, so all those things happen. Leisure happens. They have nice video rooms in their house where they can sit and watch movies, right? All those things happen. They have entertainment. They travel. They could travel within India, they could travel abroad. Their traveling budgets don't exist. They can spend as much as they want, but within reason how they will behave, right? So thank you.